Exodus 20 to 3:17, the Ten Commandments. After rescuing Israel from slavery, God led them to Mount Sinai. The mountain trembled, thunder roared, and lightning filled the sky. God was about to speak directly to his people. Israel gathered at the foot of the mountain. Fear and awe filled the air. This was not just instruction, it was covenant. God spoke, declaring that he was the Lord who brought them out of Egypt. The commandments were not given to enslave them, but to teach them how to live free. The first commandment was spoken. Israel was to have no other gods before him. Their loyalty was to be undivided. God reminded them that he alone had power to save. No false god had broken their chains. The second commandment followed. They were not to make idols or images to worship. God could not be reduced to human creation. He warned that worshiping idols would distort truth and corrupt generations. True worship required faith, not objects. The third commandment declared they must not misuse the name of the Lord. God's name represented his character and authority. To misuse his name was to treat the holy as common. The fourth commandment called them to remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Rest was an act of trust. God had rested after creation, setting an example. The Sabbath reminded Israel they were no longer slaves driven without rest. The fifth commandment focused on family. Honor your father and mother. Stability in the home would shape the nation. Honor was not about perfection, but about order and respect. The sixth commandment was clear. You shall not murder. Life belonged to God. Human life was sacred, bearing God's image. The seventh commandment addressed faithfulness. You shall not commit adultery. Covenant relationships mattered deeply to God. Faithfulness protected families, trust, and future generations. The eighth commandment stated, you shall not steal. Freedom required honesty. Stealing damaged trust and community. The ninth commandment warned against false testimony. Truth was essential for justice. Lies could destroy lives just as surely as violence. The final commandment reached the heart. You shall not covet. God addressed desire, not just actions. Coveting turned gratitude into dissatisfaction and peace into unrest. With these words, God revealed his standard, not only for behavior, but for the heart. The people trembled. They asked Moses to speak to God on their behalf, fearing his voice. Moses assured them that God's presence was meant to teach reverence, not terror. The Ten Commandments formed the foundation of Israel's law and identity. They were not a path to salvation, but a response to salvation already given. God had freed them first, then taught them how to live free. The commandments revealed God's justice, holiness, and care for human life. They showed how to love God and how to love others. Obedience was meant to bring life, not fear. At Sinai, God formed a people, not just a rule book. The law pointed to humanity's need for guidance and grace. The Ten Commandments still echo today, calling hearts toward truth. They remind us that freedom without direction leads back to bondage. God's law was written on stone, but meant for the heart. At Sinai, heaven touched earth, and God spoke. The mountain shook, but God's purpose stood firm. The Ten Commandments revealed a holy God guiding a redeemed people. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe.